welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh here with V. Welcome officially now to the dumpster fire.
I guess we're doing the toilet paper now?
We are doing the toilet paper now.
My brain is still not working, if you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might need another sledgehammer over here.
Okay, I'm going to get with the stuff that's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, you've got Campus Activities Programming Board. They're doing the Disability Awareness Workshop. So head to Student Commons Room 114 on the Greeley campus from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow, March 30th. There's going to be food, information, guest speakers, and it's all to promote disability awareness, reduce stigma, and informative resources, and also just to have fun. So definitely check that out. Also going on tomorrow, there's a writer's workshop about how to find good scholarly sources for your papers. That is March 30th tomorrow from 1 to 1:45 on Zoom. The link is on the toilet paper. On April 1st, that is the deadline for graduates to order your caps and gowns. And you need that if you're going to participate in commencement. Also, if you want to participate in commencement, besides needing your cap and gowns, you need to register to participate in the commencement ceremony, and the deadline for that is April 6th, which is also the deadline for the full-term course withdrawal. So if you want the W instead of the F, talk to your professors first, but that's probably that's your deadline, April 6th. Everything else on here happens after that. You've got Wayne Hoffman visiting April 7th, 5:30 p.m. in Plattville, or in Platt, 111-113. That's on the Fort Lupton campus. He's a mentalist, author of best-selling book Mind Candy. It's a high-energy presentation that involves body language, human behavior, and visual magic that will dazzle the audience. It's open to the community, so make sure to invite your friends and family. Refreshments will be provided. We look forward to seeing you there. Email dmorgall@aims.edu. That's DMORGALL @aims.edu if you have any questions or concerns. And there's other stuff, but whatever.
All right, so while we're on the toilet paper, now let's go ahead and move on over here to the weather. Currently in Fort Lupton, we're looking at 45 degrees, cloudy and wind with a low of 28. Loveland, currently 46 degrees with rain showers and wind with a low of 30. Windsor is currently 49 degrees, cloudy and winds with a low of 29, with Greeley currently sitting at 43, rain and wind gusts of 14 miles an hour, and a low of 28 tonight. So with that being said, let's go ahead and bring it back to the music here on AIMS Student Radio, the way radio should be.
Nerd. You're a
And welcome back to AIM Student Radio. I'm Josh here with V. We're going to be doing a slightly different segue here on the dumpster fire.
Rip.
But no, seriously, it is a rip. Over the weekend here, in between our last show and now, there was sadly some very sad news to report. Taylor Hawkins, the drummer from the Foo Fighters, suddenly passing away at age 50 in Columbia, just a few hours before the band was scheduled to perform at a festival. Obviously, this was a shock to the music community as a whole, as far as tributes have been pouring in from artists honestly, all corners of the music industry, really. Really, nobody seems to have a bad thing to say about the guy. Sounds like he was an extremely humble person for being in a band, that globally famous. Big. Yes. Obviously, the Foo Fighters, they've been around close to 30 years now at this point, if not more. So obviously a bit of a shock, and with the news of the passing of Taylor Hawkins also, just a few hours ago, Foo Fighters did report on their social media that their upcoming tour plans have been canceled as they deal with the fallout, or not the fallout, as they deal with the passing of Taylor. That does include the Mile High show that was supposed to be, I believe, in July or August. But obviously, as a result of that, the remaining stops on their tour have been postponed. No word yet on what the future of the band is yet. And honestly, it's and this is just my take, they can do what they choose to, whether they choose to continue on and find a potential find somebody to fill in Taylor's role, or if they call it a day. Honestly, they can do either or.
I just had a massive brain fart, so I got lost.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
So, should we get to some music then?
Yes. So, as a small sort of in memoriam segment that we're doing here for Taylor Hawkins, we're going to go ahead and play 3 Foo Fighters songs back to back. We're going to do Rope, followed by Best of You, and ending with Walk. That's just our small tribute to Taylor Hawkins, just a phenomenal drummer and, by all accounts, a pretty phenomenal person as well. So here we go with that here on AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh here with V. That was Noise Complaint by Scarlet Canary, a local band, and they got some sauce in there.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No. I did. I'll be honest, I need some way more caffeine in my system right now.
I think we both do.
I think, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know if it's just like the weather or like it being thrown off over the last 24 hours, because yesterday was beautiful. It was almost 80 degrees.
Ew.
That was beautiful.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was too hot.
It was perfect.
It was too hot.
It was perfect.
Anyway, we're just giving a teaser for Thursday. We'll have some other stuff going on Thursday, but Dax is going to try and join us again, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Dax is always fun.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about a recent album that came out that I am currently obsessed with.
Very, very much so.
March 25th, 2022, at least according to Spotify. Architects released the full For Those Who Wish to Exist at Abbey Road, which is their For Those Who Wish to Exist album, which came out, I can't even remember now. It came out in 2021.
Okay.
On February 26th.
Mm-hmm. And
I love that album. It
yes.
was one of my top listens for the whole year of 2021. It's different from normal Architects, but I really liked it. It had just a great vibe. They sort of started this with Amazon because they did Animals.
Yeah.
Which Amazon sponsored. They did that with an orchestra at Abbey Road. And
yes.
Amazon was doing some other things. They did one with Royal Blood, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started teasing this because they did Dying Is Absolutely Safe. That was separate though. And then they released Impermanence.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually, so then they released just the whole album done.
Yeah.
With live full orchestra. It was actually a concert.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a different version of Animals. So there's the one that they did with Amazon, and then there's this album version. They're different. But it's really good, especially I like live albums.
Mm-hmm.
And I love hearing all the different orchestral elements.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now, it seems like Amazon has been starting to kind of step it up when it comes to, doing these kind of, exclusive performances almost, or, certain renditions for songs. Because I know for Billie Eilish, they actually did a couple, there's the Billie Eilish reference of the day, but they did, they had her do a couple of songs from her album where they recorded, an exclusive performance for her, and they recorded it in, Dolby Atmos and everything. Mm-hmm. And then with The Weeknd, for his Dawn FM album that came out about a month or so ago, they did an exclusive, almost like a listening party kind of thing, where they had him actually on stage playing the songs, but the same kind of thing where they did it in Dolby Atmos, and there was this whole immersive performance that they filmed to go along with it. So Amazon's really starting to kind of step it up with doing these kind of performances. Obviously Disney is kind of throwing their hat in a different ring with it by getting some concert films on there. Obviously they had Billie Eilish's last year. They just added, I think it was this week, they added Olivia Rodrigo's concert film. It was kind of sort of in the same vibe as some of these other ones where they do the whole album from front to back, and they do an exclusive performance and they put it on there. So really some of these streaming services are kind of starting to jump in on this. They're hey, you can listen to this artist and do this, immersive performance, or this song in Atmos, or that kind of thing.
And this, I just said Amazon because that's kind of what I noticed first is they did the Animals. I think this is more just Architects. I will actually look that up so I can confirm it Thursday, but this is just an Architects thing.
Okay.
I think they just liked what happened with Animals. And they've done other things before. They've done some of their songs where they have a choir.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was off of, what's the now I can't remember what album it was. I'm pulling up now. Holy Hell, off the Holy Hell album.
Mm-hmm.
They did some performances with a choir.
Okay. Yeah, or the other ones that they're starting to do now, like, are Atmos mixes of certain albums. Like, I don't know if Tidal has it yet, but I know Amazon did because they did a whole big
Tidal has
thing for it.
Atmos. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did
Well,
Doomsday with
okay.
Choir Noir.
Like, I know, Amazon, different artists, but a couple of years, or last year when it was the 10th anniversary of, or it might have even been the 11th anniversary of The Social Network coming out, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the score for that one, and they re-released it on, I know they did it on Amazon first. I think they had some kind of exclusivity deal, like the first 30 days or something, where Amazon had the Atmos mix first. And it sounded really nuts. I ran it through my sound bar the day it came out. I was like, "Whoa, hello."
Yeah. Now there's some cool stuff, and Architects has kind of done some of that.
Mm-hmm.
And like Bring Me the Horizon, they did that whole thing at the Albert Hall.
Yeah, the Royal Albert Hall
this
performance.
This Abbey Road thing is very similar, except it was a live streamed concert, not an in-person thing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, would you ever consider going to Abbey Road Studios?
Well, yeah, it's very famous.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, legendary studio. Obviously, the famous crosswalk. The Beatles.
A lot of my
so many artists have done recording sessions there.
Some of my favorite albums are actually what's the word? Mastered at Abbey Road.
Oh, okay.
I think all the Zed albums were mastered there, which love them. They sound really good.
Oh yeah. Or
at least one of them was.
Yeah, I know, like, if I ever got the chance to go to Abbey Road Studios, like, I would jump at the chance. Like, even though I am not a musician, I can't record music to save my life, just to go in there and be like, some of these really iconic artists, have sat in this studio, have recorded some of the most iconic albums, maybe even ever, in this studio. Like, that's just something I just want to see, like, with my own eyes.
I'm pulling up my stuff now to see about the mastering.
Okay.
Okay, where are the credits? Yeah. Z3 mastered at Abbey Road.
There you go.
Come on, quit being a pain.
Oh, modern technology.
Oh no, this wasn't. They might have changed it. A lot of my favorite albums were mastered at Abbey Road, though.
Okay.
So. Yeah, this one was mastered by Sean McGee at Abbey Road Studios.
There we go.
So, yeah, it's a really cool album. I've been listening to it almost nonstop. Architects is now my second most listened to artist on Tidal this month.
There you go.
With 120 streams, and that's as of yesterday, so it's more today because I've been listening to it still.
There you go.
And the album came out 4 days ago. So.
Yes, as we see, V is a very big Architects fan, but then again, y'all have heard me go on and on about Billie. Oh, I should say, recently Academy Award-winning artist, Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the Oscars at all?
Oh, so I watched the whole thing live.
I didn't.
Being a movie buff, I was gonna watch it anyway, so I did manage to see the Slap Heard Around the World live. It's kind of shocking. I mean, and this is my take on it. In a way, obviously, there's a lot of factors in it, both on Chris's end and Will's end. But really, it is, at least for me, it's kind of a bummer because, I mean, Will Smith has been, acting. He's had this career now for decades, and what was supposed to be his crowning moment, he finally got his Oscar. But no one's gonna remember that. They're just gonna remember what happened 40 minutes beforehand.
The Oscars themselves, like hearing a lot of the post stuff was, oof. Just in general, there was a lot of, I don't know.
It was kind of odd because they did try to do like a newer format this year where they were trying to be like a little bit more edgy with the hosts and with like a lot of the jokes, even prior to the whole Chris Rock incident. Like a lot of the jokes, like they try to be more edgy, I guess, maybe trying to get like a more youthful audience in. And some of it worked. Some of it, I will admit, was really funny. But other parts of it, it's like, no, this just feels kind of, weird.
I don't know if we can take your word for it. I've seen the TikToks you send me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just my humor. But anyways, but in short, I mean, it was like the rest of the ceremony after that moment, everything just kind of felt odd. Like you could even tell, like when the camera would pan over to like other celebs in the crowd, like everything just kind of felt a little bit weird after that. Like even some of the jokes that the host would crack later on, like everybody seemed to be just like kind of walking on eggshells after that moment.
Yeah, again, I didn't watch it. I don't care. I've never cared about Oscars. It's like I don't care about the Oscars. I don't care about the Grammys. Don't care about any of those awards. It's cool if an artist I follow gets one or gets nominated for one.
Yeah.
Good for them. Whatever. It's a bunch of. It's a. It's very Oh, what's the word? Oh, whatever.
Yeah, like obviously, V and I have different viewpoints on the sort of thing. Like me, I mean, growing up, being a movie buff, being a music buff, like I live for that kind of stuff, and then always, I just live for like those moments because something crazy always tends to happen. I mean, the biggest moment I was jumping out of my seat for was Billie getting her Oscar. She had an honestly pretty awesome performance of No Time to Die. They really did shorten down the whole song for the performance. Like the whole clip was maybe 2.5 minutes and the song's closer to 5, so it felt kind of rushed. But to me, like, it was almost cathartic because she did sing No Time to Die when she was in Denver 8 days ago at the time of the Oscars, and then hearing her hit that note at the end, twice in 8 days. And the first time, obviously being in the crowd, myself included, huge reaction. And then here, she's getting this huge reaction, but she also has an Oscar now. So to me, like, it was so cool. I'm like, yo, this person that I literally saw 8 days ago is on that stage getting an Oscar. Like, to me, that was just the coolest thing.
Yeah. I mean, good for Billie, honestly. Is she the youngest to get an
She
Oscar?
is she actually set a record because her brother Phineas is a little bit older, so he didn't get it, but she is actually the first person born in the 21st century to win an Oscar.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. I mean, given her career, it's like good for her. We'll see what the Grammys hold for her next, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. With that, we should probably get back to the music. We're coming up here on the top of the hour in like 15 minutes.
And
we're both very tired.
Yes, the caffeine is not working today, so we're going to bring it back to the music here on Ames Student Radio with What You Want by Evanescence. And welcome back to Ames Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh, here with V. And we're just going to go ahead and do a quick little check here of your weather before we go. So currently in Fort Lupton, we have 43 degrees with a low of 28. Loveland, we're also looking at 44 degrees with a low of 30. Windsor, currently 43 degrees with a low of 29. And Greeley, 41 degrees with a low of 28.
Is that all?
That is all.
Cool. A few little news things that we kind of missed earlier. Ames is on TikTok now.
Oh?
I'm not going to comment on the quality of the videos, but I did look at it. If you want to follow Ames on TikTok, it's at Ames_CC, as in the letter C. Stay tuned for more videos featuring your favorite dancing aardvark. I did not know I had a favorite dancing aardvark, but apparently I do.
You do now.
So Ames is on TikTok. I did check it out. I think I did follow them too. I'm not going to comment about any of the quality. Quick reminder, tomorrow there's a writer's workshop for finding good, credible sources for your papers from 1 to 1:45. That's on Zoom. The link is on the toilet paper. And also, disability awareness. Join the Campus Activities Programming Board to learn about academic resources and disability access services for our students, food, information, and guest speakers to promote disability awareness, reduce stigma, and informative resources. That is tomorrow from 10 to 2 in Student Commons 114. And we were just joined by Jeff. Jeff, what are you listening to right now?
Oh, man, I'm listening to a lot of, like, sad emo rap, and it's not, like, anything super mainstream or anything, but Steph's brother and I just have a playlist. It's called Expletive Deleted I'm Sad, and it's not because we're sad, but it's just music that vibes
Yeah.
well.
It's
So,
just what you're vibing to right now.
yeah, I'm just kind of chilling out until spring, and then I got to start getting into heavier
is
stuff
spring.
again. Eh,
I mean, right now outside
right
it doesn't
now,
feel
I
like
mean,
spring.
It's springtime in the Rockies, definitely.
Oh yeah.
We got spoiled by those nice couple days.
Yeah,
and
no, like
then-
yesterday I was just having a
Nice.
blast.
It's too hot.
I
It's-
agree.
it's-
I need a little bit of a breeze if it's that hot, and when it.
I was gonna say I
yesterday
need
was
the
just
heat.
sun.
I thrive off the heat. I'm like Superman. I draw my power from heat and from the sun.
I
Mostly
need
from
to
the
at
sun.
least be able to wear a hoodie.
Yeah, no, not me.
See, and that's what I miss most about like the colder times is I can't wear a beanie anymore, and I can't wear a hoodie because it's just too hot, and you get all wet and drippy, and not a fan.
I vote we reverse global warming so far that the Earth goes into another ice age.
Dude, Ice Age would be fun.
Dude, I want that.
No,
I'm moving to like the Northeast. I want the brutal winter.
no.
Speaking of Northeast, we were in Baltimore.
Yes,
That's why we
Yeah,
were gone.
saw
so
those
much.
saw those snap stories.
a lot of them.
Okay, hey, not me. I am very choosy with what I do.
I will say yes, you did have less, although yours and Steph's were a bit repetitive. It's like, oh, I saw this on Steph's story.
Okay, and that's also because
that's where
like
we
I
have, like,
see
the
something, I'm like, oh, I'm
crossover.
going to do this, and the Steph's like, oh, that's a good idea. Now I'm going to do it professionally, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now
Yeah,
I
no,
feel
it's like
crap.
it's like we almost have like the multiverse going on because with like some of the stories it'll be the same thing but from like different angles. So it's like, oh,
And that's another thing is she took a lot like when the plane was taking off and everything, but you have to have your phone in airplane mode, so your snaps won't send until you land, and apparently Snapchat's thing doesn't keep up with that because it'll just upload them in different spots. So it was like,
oh, okay.
her story was like, oh, we're in Denver. Oh, we're in Baltimore. Hey, we're flying. Hey, we're back in Denver. Now we're in Baltimore. And
Yeah, no, I did notice that. Yeah.
technology, you gotta love it.
Why can't you use your Snapchat stories like the rest of us do?
I'm sorry, I don't have the
Well, I mean,
right costumes to.
I was
be
gonna
up to
say
par
most of
with
mine are
yours,
just
so-
like most of mine are just memes. Like that's the
And
vast
Euphoria.
majority.
What is this Euphoria? You
Yeah.
post about it all the time.
Seriously, and no one cares.
And it's like, look at this shot. I'm like, yeah, that's a shot, but
It's a camera shot.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, I just went nuts because I mean, obviously, big fan of the show, but also like I think I just really like a lot of the cinematography in it. So there are pages that I'll follow like on my Facebook and such that are just like cool shots like from movies, TV shows and stuff, and they'll just stitch together like a lot of shots like because I know I put on stuff from like the Batman or from Blade Runner. A lot of them obviously Euphoria because the new season was just on not too long ago, so that's why you saw like the thing with Euphoria. And then I kind of got a little bonkers because there was a lot of crossover with Euphoria memes and the whole Oscars incident. So actually I had my cousin on Twitter because I just kept like posting the memes on my Twitter. And she actually asked me, she's like, how many of these do you have? And I had only posted about 5 at the time. And I'm just like, okay, you open Pandora's box. So I just spammed her
this
with
is why
like
I have
40.
Josh blocked
And
You have Josh
Yeah.
blocked?
on one of my Twitter accounts. Yes,
Oh, okay. On one.
on one of them. But like that
the
was
one that
just.
you don't follow.
Yeah.
It's like,
No.
you're not finding this account. I'm blocking you now. You found my other one. You're not getting to my other.
Oh yeah, no, but that was just me going nuts because that's just kind of the way cousins interact. You know, someone always has to one up the other, so it's like, oh, I put 6 memes, but now I'm just gonna send you 40 of them.
All my cousins are way younger than me, so I don't interact with them.
Yeah, no,
like that.
a lot of mine, thankfully, I mean, well, they are in Mexico, but a lot of them mine are we're all around the same age, so it just kind of works.
I am like, my family's huge. So I'm like smack dab in the middle. I've got a bunch older than me, but then I've got a lot more behind me. But the one that's
Yeah.
closest to me in age, he's probably like 5 years older than I am. We hung out a lot when we were kids, but now we do that one up thing.
Yeah.
But it's with alcoholic beverages and food.
Yeah, no. With us, it's usually
drink,
just
kids.
like with us, it's usually just memes. But I also knew that my cousin was a Euphoria fan, so that's what I'm like. Okay, you're gonna appreciate a lot of these then. Until it was like, no, this is too much, and I'm just like, no, I still got like 20 more if you want them. And she was like, no, I'm done. I'm like,
HBO
okay,
really just sexualized mental illness, didn't they?
sort of.
What's sexier than mental illness, though?
Well, they took mental illness and they sexualized it, and that's how they got euphoria.
Oh, okay. So that's what euphoria is. Thank you. That's a good
I would like to
nutshell.
think that I am sexier than mental illness, although you're getting some of that with me.
I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Kind of goes hand in hand.
Doctor said I'd take Lexapro for a reason.
Oh. Whoo.
I'll normalize talking about antidepressants.
I had a friend who was on antidepressants, and it's the one thing that kind of makes me not interested in them because, when you're on your own and you're kind of like in your 20s and stuff,
Yeah.
you don't have health insurance, you can't always afford the medication.
Oh, yeah, no.
And man, to see how much torture he went through when he couldn't afford that medication anymore, it was horrible.
Yeah, no, see, when I was a bit younger, well, actually, it's coming up on a decade, I did take them for a while, and I stopped because they were having the opposite effect on me.
It is a bit of a roulette.
They
got
say that
lucky.
in the commercials. They say it.
Yeah, no, they say it, and at first, obviously, like everybody else, I'm like, no, I'm not going to be one of those, and it's like, oh no, this is really bad now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'll be honest, I mean, was it wrong? Maybe a little bit, but it's like, nope, down the toilet those went. I wanted nothing to do with it after that point because I was like, no, these aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Bye bye. Obviously, for a lot of other people, they work. I'm not obviously going to be like, no, don't take them. For me, they didn't work, but there are millions of other people out there that they do work. So it's like they work for you by all means.
There's so many different kinds, and it's also like maybe that we need to look at the outer causes of depression instead of just trying to help the chemicals.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
But that's a very complicated situation that
I don't
has
think
a
there's
lot
as
of
much money to be made either.
Yeah,
so.
I mean that's a whole other conversation. You can do almost an entire book series just in and of itself regarding all that, and big pharma and all of everything associated with that.
This is a college radio show. We don't talk about serious stuff like that.
Yeah,
also, because we are, of course, not qualified. This is all alleged.
So what have you guys been watching lately?
I
guess
read
that's
books.
something we can.
I read Radio Apocalypse. I finished it.
What'd you think? Was it?
It was not. It was a fun book. It definitely could have used some improvements in places, but it was a definitely fun read, and I liked it because it was easy. I mean, it was almost 500 pages, but it was relatively easy. And I'm almost done with Friday Black, which is a really interesting collection of short stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the author now, and I want to remember the author because it's really cool. It's a really absurdist outside take, especially on retail, but just society.
Okay.
Talking about Black Friday, which is where the title comes from, is the Friday Black is one of the stories about people going in for Black Friday and it being more of a bloodbath, completely ravenous and just.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, going to
not...
Black Friday sales personally, they are bloodbaths. They are insane.
This is them talking about how people being lost to the Friday Black, barely being able to form sentences and just actively killing each other over a coat. It's a very good book.
Good old knockout capitalism.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've just been.
It's by. I'm gonna butcher this name. Nana Kwame Ajay Brenya. I believe it's collection of short stories explores themes surrounding Black identity as it relates to a range of contemporary societal issues. I started reading this because there was the last story I heard about. It's called Through the Flash, and it's a very interesting time loop in the apocalypse where it's suburbia gets caught in a day-long time loop where at the end of each day, a nuke strikes suburbia. And it's also just a dystopian future in the first place. And it was a very interesting story, and that's the reason I bought it.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing.
It's also the guy's debut book.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, sometimes that will happen when, you get lightning in a bottle and, an artist will drop, a debut album or an author drops a debut book and, they just catch that lightning in a bottle. But, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't read a book in a few months, but I have been just maybe creature of habit at this point. When they put all of the Marvel shows that used to be on Netflix, now they moved them over to Disney Plus, and I've just been rewatching Daredevil recently, especially since there is talk that Disney is going to do basically like a reboot / season 4 of the show, because there was going to be a season 4 at Netflix, but then for whatever reason it wasn't made. But it looks like Disney is actually going to proceed and more than likely just make that season 4.
Yeah, because they brought in the actor Charlie Cox.
Yeah, they brought
Cox?
in Charlie
Played
Cox.
Matt Murdock.
Yeah,
No Way Home.
to do Matt Murdock in No Way Home. But then also, if you watched the Hawkeye series, which I hope I'm not spoiling anything, Kingpin also returns, and it's the same actor, and they're so at least for sure. It sounds like a lot of the actors from the Netflix shows are going to be returning, because let's be honest, it was just really good casting anyways. So I mean, they're probably going to retool the stories a little bit, but they're probably going to bring him in. There's still talk of maybe doing something more with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. I'm hoping, honestly, well, I did like the Punisher show when it was on. Obviously, it was still a much different time in our country when it was on. So if it comes back now, I mean, who knows? I mean, I just liked the character. You know, obviously, there's a lot of other connotations to that now, which I won't get into. But I'm just like, I hope maybe we'll get some more of that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, books are fun. I like books.
I like books too. I need to start reading. We have a really nice collection of books, especially because I'm trying to collect all the original Goosebumps right now.
Ooh, nice.
And I'm about halfway through. But man, thrift stores, that's where it's
Yeah,
at.
no,
If you
thrift
wanna
stores. I
find
was
some,
going to
like,
say,
good books,
well, actually, because we were there, the Habitat for Humanity store, they just moved it over to where JCPenney is in the mall. They do got a pretty big book section. Actually, V and I were in there during spring break, just goofing off.
yeah, I actually won a $25 gift certificate from Habitat from their grand opening.
I did see your name because I went on that grand opening day because I just had nothing else better to do, and I live right there. And I signed my name in there, and I saw the name. I was like, Thatch. And I'm like, wait, is Jeff? But
Should've
then
taken it out because I won.
There you go.
$25.
No, and $25 will get you.
It's not a lot at Habitat. Habitat is kind of the more expensive, but it's also because they go and build houses and stuff.
Yeah, they go build houses, and sometimes you get lucky and they have some really nice stuff. Like my nightstand that I have in my room, like that's from Habitat. Like I've occasionally actually ended up buying a VHS tape when we were out there because they had a tape of Gladiator, and the box itself and the tape was in really good shape, and that was like the one edition of the movie I didn't actually own till now, so now I have it.
Yeah, I like to use bookshop.org or .com. I forget if it's bookshop.
I have that one. I think it's .org because I remember you mentioning it. And
yeah,
I think
it's
I saved
bookshop.org.
it. Cool.
I've got a whole wish list. I need to get some editions of like a lot of the old Gothic horror, like Frankenstein. I actually just got a collection of Edgar Allan Poe stories. My mom found it at like a garage sale. I was like, oh, Via like this. And so it's like, oh, cool, thanks, Mom.
That's very cool.
I have a huge wish list. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll lend you Radio Apocalypse or Friday Black. I need to finish Friday Black.
I need to get more in the habit of reading as well because, man, I used to read so much.
I need to get my own copy of The Invisible Orientation too.
I think for me, it's because I'm not an ebook reader. Like I can just never do it. But also right now I don't have a whole lot of space to, like I'd have to do some reorganizing or something. I don't have a lot of space for like physical books. So I think a lot of that's been what's kind of stopped me. Like a lot of the books that I've gotten are a little bit smaller. Like there are like a lot of wrestlers that I like that are writing books. And like on Amazon on occasion, especially if it's an older book, they'll have it dirt cheap. It'll be like $8 and I'll buy those. But my thing is right now I just have to reorganize so that way I can get more space to get more books.
I have a dream of being able to like have a library and also being able to afford to just give books to people. Like, oh, hey, I've got a book I think will help you, or I have a book you'll like. It's like, here you go.
Oh, yeah.
And don't worry about bringing it back. I'll get another copy.
Don't even worry about it because there's so many other books, man.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, that would be cool. Did you ever see a series of unfortunate events? Like the original movie, like the 2004 one where Jim Carrey did Count Olaf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I watch movies.
If you watch like the opening sequence, because obviously Klaus of the Baudelaire Friends was the huge
Klaus.
that one is a huge reader. And I'll never forget, like, they had this enormous library, like, in a scene in the movie in the mansion. And, like, ever since watching that movie as a kid the first time, I'm like, if I could have a library like that, because it had, you know, like the curved walls, the ladder, you know, going from side to side. Like, I'm like, now that is a library.
See, if it's the perfect world, though, I totally have, like, a secret doorway behind one of those bookcases, because
Oh, yeah, no, you got to have the cave.
we'll slide down into the dungeon. Not saying I'd have a dungeon, but
What kind of dungeon, Jeff?
that's for me to know and for you to find out if I ever win the lottery. So, other than that, I'm not getting a dungeon.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
if
no,
you have,
I
like a
would
trailer
totally-
park dungeon, but
There you go. No, I'd totally have, like, some kind of... It would be more of like a cave than anything. But just knowing me, and... Because it would have to look kind of brooding anyways. Like, I'd probably have the... like, the Gothic architecture. You know, maybe a handful of gargoyles, but I think... And it's just probably
So the
me.
Batcave.
I was going to say, so the Batcave?
Mostly a bat cave, but I think if I could, like, I'd have like a grate, probably like as big as, or maybe a little bit bigger than the window here on the fishbowl. Like the grate with, like, maybe not crosses, but, like, you know, like the big steel X's, and then just fire, just like right behind it.
Have
like
you
giant
considered that
fireplace.
you might be a nerd?
Yes.
I was going to say, you're a little bit more of a boy wonder than a Batman to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not brooding enough to do
No.
Batman.
I really want just like a closet that has like a comfy chair and like the stuff to make tea, like an electric kettle and like a...
Ding, ding, ding.
No, I pride myself on having a good tea collection. Like tea and coffee.
do you have, like, any steepers, or do you just use bags?
Oh, I've got a pot. I've got 2 pots.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh.
I've got a smaller ceramic one and a larger cast iron.
Mm-hmm.
I also have individual ones too if I don't want to make a full pot.
I have a tea steeper that just kind of hangs onto the edge of your cup, but it's in the shape of a manatee.
Oh, there you
So
go.
it's mana tea.
Ha, ah,
Brilliant.
ba-dum-ts.
Tea's fun. Tea's good. We should get back to the music.
Let's go ahead and bring it back to the music here on Ames Student Radio. And then since we do have Jeff and it is going to be the 90s till 9, let's go ahead and kick it off with some 90s with Santeria by Sublime.